This drill is called Tunch's Punches. It was developed by a man named Tunch Ilkin, who played left tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers for 12 years, and he does clinics and demonstrations in professional and college football, and a lot of people use this. I think it's a terrific drill, and here's how it works. The first thing you do is get paired up with a partner on a line, as you see here, and then remember, the bag holder, who's on defense, places the shield across his chest, bends a little bit so he can take on a little bit of a blow, and then the puncher assumes the posture position. By posture, we're talking about a slight bend in the knees where you're sitting kind of like you're on a stool, and you have your chest out, your shoulders back, your elbows and thumbs tight together with a picture frame, and you want to bug your eyes and aim small, miss small, and then there's 3 drills. The first drill is actually a straight ahead punch. It's a 6-inch punch, and it goes for about 10 seconds, and you just unleash. You want to keep your hands nice and loose, your arms nice and loose, so you can allow your good posture to be able to deliver good blows. After doing that for 10 seconds to straight ahead, you switch to the next drill, which is up and down, and that's so you can move your hands, hit different targets, because of course you're working on a moving target. The third part of the intervals is a steer the wheel. When you steer the wheel, we're going to turn our shoulders, and that's because many times when you're pass protecting, you're going to get a guy who's not going to give you a big target to hit. He's going to be turning and trying to work the edges, and so you're going to have to steer the wheel so you can hit in different areas. Okay? That basically describes the drill. Of course, when you're finished with the 3 drills, which are straight ahead, up and down, and steer the wheel, 10 seconds each, you then switch partners, let the other guy do it, and you get as much of this as you can. It really builds up the shoulder muscles, and it's really good.
I want you to jump set with your hats high. Hats high jump set, then convert. Up stance. Here we go. Hey, Casey, see how you got the sled turned? Here we go, ready? Next group. Next group. Here we go, down and ready. Next group, ready? Here we go. Next one. Next group. Hurry up, get up there, get up there. Down and ready. Hey, I want a jump set. Jump set, convert. Here we go. Jump set, convert. Excellent, Hunter. Good job. Stop. Down and ready. Jump set. Good.
one of the real important drills that we're going to work on emphasizes the 3 type of sets that we use at Miami. We use jump sets on 3-step drops. We already talked about jump set and punch and cuts. And we use lateral sets when we have a 5-step drop and we have a guy that's in normal alignment to us. And we use vertical sets versus a wide rusher. And we really don't want to go out to that wide rusher. We want to come back, let him come to us so we can also handle games. Now, in this drill, we're going to work all 3 players, and we're going to try and get a little bit of shot at each type of set. The first one here is a jump set. I'll go back right there. And in the jump set, you see the feet goes forward. They're trying to go forward just the length of your foot. Okay? Sometimes guys will jump out of their shoes on these jump sets, and then when they get some movement, they're hurt by it a little bit. Okay? But we just want to go 1, 2, come forward, and maybe get the defensive player a little bit out of kilter, out of sorts, and his timing may be off, and that's why we like to work these jump sets. They're good for it, especially for 3-step drops. Okay? And then moving forward here, we'll go to lateral sets. Okay? On the lateral sets, you see them. The foot goes to the right or to the left if he's aligned to your left. Okay? You're trying to keep inside leverage at all times. You're trying to keep the hands tight. You can see them. And you're snapping the head back. And what we really work on that is jam, jack, and throw. We're jamming our foot into the ground, we're jacking our heads back, and we're throwing our hands as hard as we can. Now here is our vertical set. Okay, the guy gets you get a little bit of a wider rush. Okay, so you have to kind of give ground to get your ground, and now we're going to push for depth, and we're going to push off our inside foot, and we're going to kick back and kick slide, but we want to do it almost completely vertical. Okay, again, none of the things you're teaching as a pass protector, as a coach, as far as inside leverage, none of that changes. We're trying to hit you on the inside. We're trying to protect our inside at all time. We're trying to make you go one way to beat us. But the hard problem with this is to keep guys square to the line of scrimmage. And this is why we got to work it so hard to keep them square, to keep them focused on not turning. And again, now we work to the left. Because you never know, we use left-handed stances, right-handed stances, and guys can get hurt. You got to move guys around, so we always want them to work them both left and right. Okay, we'll start, and again, we'll do it the same progression: jump set, vertical, or jump set, lateral set, vertical set. Okay, here's a little shot here of the vertical, and what are you trying to emphasize? Inside leverage, foot to crotch relationship right there. Don't go wide, go back. And snap the head out. How many? Well, you can see right here, our right tackle is doing a good job on trying to attack and get at the rusher. It's a good job on the jump set. And is very effective. It's really a nice alternative, to guys that are good rushers. You don't want to let them get in a mode where they're just coming after you all day and they don't have to worry about anything else but the same type of set. Here's more of a lateral set. But this guy he's got to get a little bit of width to get on him, but he's trying to jump him. He's trying to get after him, and I think that throws this guy off because he's probably thinking he's going to get a vertical or lateral set there, and it's more like a jump set. Here's lateral set. Okay, and the example is the right tackle. He has a 5 technique on him. He's in the normal 5 technique alignment, which would be on his outside shoulder. He wants to jam his right foot in the ground, keep his left foot solid. He wants to work the inside of the body, and he wants to jack his head back and throw his hands. Jam, jack, and throw on lateral set. It's the same thing on a jump set, only now you're using forward footwork. Okay? This one is a lateral to the side. And you can see he does a good job, gets his head out, stops him good, works his hands good. That's an excellent job. Here's another view, our left tackle on a lateral set. Okay? Now, I would like to see him jam his left foot a little bit better, but and the throw of the hands, but the head's good. He's keeping inside leverage. And again, that guy's on his outside shoulder, and we're working to keep our left foot in his crotch. That's the relationship we're looking. Left foot to crotch, jam, jack, and throw, keep the head out, keep inside leverage. The right guard here is using a lateral set. Good job of, the guy's a little loose on him where they can run games on you, but he's careful enough to not get his head involved and still keep him outside and keep his inside leverage. That's the hardest part of pass protection to teach, is to maintain inside leverage, because the fastest way to a sack, as we all know, is to go inside, and that's where they come from, and you just don't want to give up inside leverage at any cost. Here's some examples of vertical sets now, okay? Our right tackle here has a 6 technique on the tight end, and he's just going completely vertical, okay? And he's turning a little bit, and you want to work their confidence that they can stay square and play at the line of scrimmage. But I really like his inside leverage. He kind of falls victim to a nice little move there, but that's okay, because the guy's got to go outside and the ball's going to be gone. Here's our right tackle, and really, it's not a super wide guy, so but he's still kicking vertical. He's kind of turning a little bit and opening it up, but it's excellent with his head and hands. Watch the head and hands. Head is out, hands are up. He hits the inside number, keeps great leverage on the guy, allows the quarterback to throw the ball freely. Okay, that's a pretty nice job right there. One of the most important things in O-line teaching is to be able to teach how to fit your face and hands into a block, okay? And in these 2 drills, fit and finish, as well as refits, we're doing it without a whole lot of contact, because we're actually pre-fitting the offensive lineman into position where he would be after he hit a guy, okay? And obviously we want his eyes and face mask right in on the numbers. We want his hands, to be down and in, and really on the belly itself. Okay, and then we want them to feel the power of their face and hands working with their ass and hips and their feet. And so on the first whistle on this one, this is fit and finish. They're going to drive off 5 yards. Hey, the head's in there, the hand's in there, and then as soon as they hit the 5 yard, we'll give them a second whistle, and they'll extend by taking their hands and driving them up to the pecs. Okay, so you go from the stomach to the pecs and finish by extending and driving out.
And this to me is a great drill because you're not doing a lot of hitting, but you're always emphasizing the things that are so important in run blocking, which are pads down, eyes up, thumbs tight, elbows tight, extend and finish, and move your feet. Okay? Now here's another example of it. And again, we're going 5 yards, second whistle, extend and finish. Now you're going to see, 78 kind of pushes off there, and that's not really what we're looking for. We're trying to exaggerate what's going on here. We're trying to get them fit in the whole time. We're trying to run off the insides of our shoes on our arches, okay? We're trying to squeeze our elbows and let all that power be transmitted from our feet up to our face and hands, and then to finish off by extending and finishing the block, okay? And it may be an exaggeration, but to me, it's a beautiful way of telling kids that this is the position we want them to be in on a football field, okay? This drill right here is refits. And what happens, it's the same as fit and finish, only now on the second whistle, the defensive guy becomes the offensive guy, and he sort of snap fits right back into the offensive guy who now becomes a defensive guy. So it's 4 whistles, okay? And going back, here's the first whistle. It's just fit and finish. Now on refits, we switch who becomes offense, who becomes defense. He drives back. Now I give him the third whistle. And then the fourth whistle, we switch again. Okay? And again, why do you do this? I think the reason you do this is because in a game, you're not always going to fit guys clean like this. But you're trying to get fit clean, and if you're not fitted clean in the block, you can find a way to refit and get yourself fitted into the block. And what's the other thing? Again, we're not doing a lot of hitting. Your offensive linemen only have so many hits in them across a whole year, a whole season, and we want to try and keep them healthy, but we also want to be able to work the fit. Now, here's an example. Our right tackle here is going to, this is kind of on an angle of what we were showing for the fit and finish, but it's a great job of fitting, hands and head, driving with the feet, okay, and then finishing, and he's trying to extend, and he ends up actually, sometimes this happens where a guy just goes on his back and we get a pancake. That's a heck of a job. Now we got the right guard, number 65. And again, he takes his step first, but what do we got now? As soon as he gets fitted, now he's doing the fit and finish, and he's trying to drive on the guy and finish him, man. Finishes happen at we do most of this drill going straight vertically, but you could also work it at an angle because, as we know, in football, a lot of your fits come at an angle. Here's our left tackle, Brandon Washington, does an excellent job with his hands from an up stance. He fits this down lineman, and now he keeps working his hands, keeps extending, keeps driving, and, now it's a little different than our fit and finish because it's, at a couple different angles, but it's the same principles of everything works for the lineman from his feet up to his hands and face. Okay, and when the whole body is working together, it distributes the hit all over the place.
This drill is foot fires, and again, we start off by pairing up down a line. The defensive player must be taught to spread his feet, be parallel with his feet, and to sit down a little bit so he can remain upright and he's not bending over, and he gives a good surface of his belly and chest to fit the helmet and the hands. Hands on the belly with thumbs together, and eyes and nose into the chest plate. Once he gets that, he staggers his feet, either left or right. You just want to really exaggerate that they don't step backwards on this. They have a tendency to do that. We want forward footwork. It doesn't matter. We just flip-flop the feet as far as the stagger, and it's 2 whistle drill. You fire out and foot fire for 5 yards. On the second whistle, you drive the hips in, raise up, extend, and foot fire some more and finish them. Okay, we're really trying to get lots of reps at this so they can have an understanding of A, how to be fit, and B, how to fire their feet and finish. When we do the refit drill, what we're doing is an extension of the foot fire drill. In that drill, we fit in, put everybody on a line, pair them up, get fitted with the face into the chest bone, the nose right into the man's chest bone, his hands with tight thumbs all fitted in on the belly, and then we just drive them down and then extend and bring the hands up to the chest plate and finish with a foot fire. Well, on this one, it's a similar drill for the first whistle. And once we get to 5 yards and you get the second whistle, the two players now separate from each other about a yard each. And then the offensive player becomes the defensive player, and the defensive player becomes the offensive player. And it's a 4-whistle drill, 5, 5, 5, and 5. And as soon as he fits into them, then they finish with a whistle at 5 yards. They separate, and then the other guy becomes the offensive player. And it's just another way of allowing your offensive lineman to learn how to trust the fit position, which is tight thumbs, tight elbows, face into contact, and foot firing and driving your feet to finish the block. We run zone blocking, either tight zone or wide zone at the University of Miami, and we do a drill called point of aim, and of course we call it that because we want the offensive lineman to have a structured point of aim as his aiming point. And by point of aim, we're referring to when our helmet hits the defender and exactly where that point of aim is. Okay, so we're going to work 3 types of blocks. We're going to work a defender being head up, a defender being an outside shade, and a defender being removed, like you'll get a lot of times at tackle and sometimes at guard. Okay, so on these blocks, we're also emphasizing other things like forward footwork and tight elbows and tight thumbs and the fit of the block. But the particular thing we're trying to emphasize in this drill is where you're placing your helmet and your point of aim. Okay, so we'll start with a lead step, and during the lead step, we're going to just come right off the ball, straight ahead, both feet in the ground, hands down and in, and pads down, eyes up. Okay, then our next drill would be our stripe to stripe, where we're going to actually take a zone step on a man that's outside of us, and our aiming point becomes our nose or helmet and face mask hitting right down the stripe of the defender. Okay, so we're going to work that, going to the left, going to the right as often as we can. The third step would be the actual wide zone step, where you're going to try and get to the outside tip of the defender or outside shoulder, and you're going to actually try and what we call bite the outside pad. Okay, it's all about your footwork and your eyes taking your head to the point of aim, and we're trying to work head up, outside shades, and wide guys, so our guys are comfortable whether they're in an up stance or a 3-point stance. They're comfortable at being able to do this and always hit the right point of aim. Each day we're going to do warm-up with our offensive line, and we're going to work on zone steps. And we're going to do it against air. And we're going to work tight zones and wide zones, and we're going to work 3-point stances and up stances or 2-point stances. We're going to work to the right and to the left, and we're going to emphasize certain things each day when we're doing this.
This particular drill right here is going to the left with tight zones. We want the pads down, the eyes up, we want elbows tight, thumbs tight, and we want to transfer our weight from left to right, or in this instance, from right to left. And we're going to move from the track we're in to the next track over. Okay, we're going to practice this from an up and a down stance, and we want to emphasize that you're running off the ball and you're using forward footwork. This right here is an outside zone step, and you can see now it becomes a little bit of a, give ground to get ground thing, and the forward footwork comes right after your first step. Tackles that have a 5 technique on this play may will almost give ground to get ground footwork, but we're really trying to exaggerate our point of aim to the right or to the left, and they're going to go much wider than they do on a tight zone, than they do compared to the wide zone. Here it is, going to the right again. I think we're giving a little too much ground with our play side foot. We want to come full with forward footwork, but the angles are very good, and we're doing it from an up stance. And we do a lot of things out of up stances, so we really have to work the 2-point stances.
Okay, we're going to talk about our combination blocks on the front side, which is the play side of our zone blocks, our zone plays. We have tight and wide zone, and a single is a combination between with the center and the play side guard. A double is a combination with the guard and the play side tackle, and then a triple is a combination with the tight end and the play side tackle. And we have to work all these combinations against movement and straight up. And we have to use different point aims for tight zones and wide zones, and that's what we'll work here. Now what you're going to see here is a single, and it's going to the left. The left guard's covered. He's on. Center just feels and takes the linebacker on. There's no movement involved. Here it is, a game foot. He's a little chip. The center's on. Center chips in there and then climbs up and keeps his eyes on the backer and does a good job. We got a nice gain there. Okay, and you want to, when you're calling these singles, you want to be able to call out the backer so you know who you're working to. Here's a double on an outside zone, and we incorporated movement in there, so the aiming point's a little bit wider on outside zone. You can see right there, and with the movement, the center or the guard takes over the end, and the tackle gets right up on the linebacker. Here's one more double call, and let's see. You see it right here. It's right guard, right tackle, and they do a good job of overtaking the pinching lineman and getting up on the linebacker. We get a nice about 10-yard gain right there. This one happens to be another double. We're going to the left. Again, it's movement involved. The lead back finds a defender that comes in there, but
on any wide zones or sweeps that we run at the University of Miami, we spend a lot of time on our backside pulling technique, BSPT, okay? And we really spend a lot of time on making them into cuts. They don't have to be cuts, but we're trying to cut every chance we get to cut, and we work on it a lot. In this particular drill here, and again, these types of drill I love with bags because you don't have to use bodies and you don't have to beat people up. But you're getting what you want out of this because you're hitting the point of aim, you're emphasizing the footwork, and you're trying to drive through with contact at the point of aim, which is obviously the outside knee here. Okay? Here's another example of this. Brandon Linder does a good job of staying low, getting to the outside of the pad, and taking the proper footwork to get him to where he needs to get quickly. Nice job. Nice job right there. Guys are coming off the ball, they're down low, they're laying out, they're driving their hands through, and they're trying to take the guy out. And some guys can play that block pretty good. And but to me, if you're quick and your jumping cadence and your point aim is good, you're probably going to be good. Here on the backside here, we have an 8-hole play, and our backside left guard and left tackle. Here comes the left tackle, Brandon Washington, with an excellent cut, and that's the left guard does a great job too of putting that guy down. Both of them, you can see the carryover from the bag work of the point of aim and how they're trying to get vertical and get up the field to get the guy down. And we're playing off our goal line here, and the yards are critical here, and we gain a nice little 4 or 5 yard gain. Here's a play to the 9 to the left side, our 9-hole play, and obviously this involves the right guard on the back side, okay? Because when they're running a single, the center and the left guard, so the backside guard ends up having that nose guard almost by himself. We may give him a Heisman with the center to help him, but he has to get out of there, and I think he could have gone a little bit more wide, but he does a great job of getting the guy down. And you can see if those guys are down, then when they come into the whole play side, the play side blockers take care of business, but it's hard to see the backside blockers. So that's why we're trying, or the backside defenders, that's why we're trying to get them down on the ground. If we can get them down on the ground, it's going to make for this guy to get more consistent gains and some breakouts. This is the left guard. We're running an 8-hole play. He gets a pretty decent jump. The left tackle was a little bit hesitant there, but the left guard's going. He gets a pretty, and sometimes, he gets this guy down, but a lot of guys will play that block better. I think he could do a better job of maybe getting to the front side knee, but I love the way he gets him down, and you can see our back, Lamar Miller, does an excellent job. He reads it out. The defense is playing the hard reach blocks, so now he comes underneath the reach blocks and gains a good 10 yards in there.
The pulling drill is a drill that we use to get our players to learn all the essentials of pulling, but we don't want them to have to hit somebody all the time. And we'll set up some dots that give us some points of aims to go to. But basically, we're telling our guy to push off his backside foot, to get depth and throw open his near arm, throw it open. So he can see his target, and then we want him to cross over, and that entails about 2 steps with the crossover, and by the 3rd step he's coming downhill, and we want his pads to come down. We want the guy to get very vertical. That's why we put the little cones or dots in there, so he can work a vertical meaning going at the goal line with his pads down and his eyes up. We'll get the players to call numbers sometimes, and we'll have pads in there so you can go under them and stay low. But the basic thing is we want to get lots of reps, and this pulling drill puts 2 guys right opposite each other, and they're pulling, and both of them are going to the right, and they're running through an area that's very similar to the same technique they're going to use in the game. And we get tons of reps, and we don't have to do a lot of hitting, but it really allows us to do a lot of teaching. And now here's a perfect example. We got it set up, and you can see how many guys are involved, and it's pushing off the backside foot, right? You're trying to throw the near arm. You're trying to get into the chute right there, and then get your pads down. Now here it is with actual game footage. This is John Feliciano, comes right up in the alley and Well, he didn't have anybody to hit, so he kept climbing to the next level defender and just smashed that safety, which is beautiful. Here he is again, and John does a great job, and he just drops this guy. And that's another thing. You're looking for your luggage. That's what we say. Find your luggage. But we're also going to be like bludgeoning instruments, and we're going to hit anything that's in our path of 1, 2, 3 vertical pads down, and we're trying to scrape our backside elbow for skin. And John does as good a job as anybody we've ever had at this. He gets low. This drill is the pulling drill. We want to work on this obviously for our O pulls, which are when the offside guard pulls for the onside backer, or our flat pulls when we're running counters or traps and we're trying to get slightly into the line and pull flat. Okay, I learned this from Dante Scarnecchia with the New England Patriots, who is now retired, was easily one of the best coaches ever of the offensive line. And I love it because you can really train your players to get lots of reps and get their pads down and get scrape for skin and be low and be tight and pull flat. This here is obviously the O pull. Okay, we're pushing off the backside foot. We're running through a lane. We're trying to get our pads down, find our luggage, and you can actually put coaches like this in the drill with flat shields, and they'll give a number, so when the guy opens, gains ground to the target and pulls, he can see the number, get his pads down, call out the number, find his luggage, and finish and finish and finish. You can change from left to right easily. The dots in the drill that you see help to, give a landmark to the players, and they can pull to the left and to the right. There we are, switching the drill. Now each player is pulling to his left, or to his right. Before they were going to the left. And when they go through the line, it's very important that they can also get back into the other line, and that way you can get tons and tons of repetitions and still be coaching about the fine points of having your pads down, being tight, scraping for skin with your backside arm, finishing and getting through. And these guys are doing a good job of it. Now we move the dots a little bit and we work on flat pulls. Okay, we're both going to the right. Again, you're going through two lines, getting slightly into the line. You want to gain ground to the target, get your pads down, run through the whole lane to the sets of dots, and you're teaching the same thing. You can have a bag in there, so you can stay low. You can put your fingers up so he can find his target, and it's really important that you emphasize finding your luggage or your target when you're pulling, because so many times you can actually see it in the drill that the players are looking at the ground or their own feet rather than trying to find their target. And again, like as in any drill, you want to practice going to the left and to the right and getting slightly into the line. Always emphasizing the same thing: pads down, eyes up, find your luggage.
The next thing we're going to talk about is our second level cuts. On the last thing, on the backside pulling techniques, it was the first level cuts, and they're the defensive linemen. Second level cuts involve the linebackers and safeties that come and join into the front. And once we make a decision on our backside pulling technique, here's what we're telling our linemen. You're going to go into the line of scrimmage. You're going to aim at the football. When you hit your third step, you want to make a decision on that third step to either cut or seal or climb. And if the decision, because there's nobody to block or because you're past the defender, is to climb, now the second level cuts come into play. And just like we did with the backside pulling technique on first level cuts, we use bags, and now we're going to, of course, move the bags to the second level where the linebackers and safeties would be, and it's the same thing. You know, you're trying to make that guy defend himself. You're trying to get his play side or outside knee, and you're trying to take it out, and you're trying to go just a layout technique. Just you can see these guys are actually skinning their knees and their chest right on the ground. And you see that one dummy kind of pops up right there, and you can see that actually happen to the defenders during the game. Their legs, if you get them right, they'll just pop out of there and almost flip them over. You do everything to the left and to the right. Here's an example. We're running a 9-hole play to the weak side. We have a single block between the center and the left guard, and the left guard gets up, and then look at him now. Now he actually goes back away from the grain to cut this guy, and he actually misses that front side knee. But he's so vicious in the way he approaches the guy that he gets 2 for the price of 1. If you see the other safety behind the linebacker, he gets involved, and it's like bowling for dollars, you know, and he gets a nice shot on him and takes him out. And this particular play, we don't bust out of there, but you know that's gonna be a great block if we can get him in that seam. Here's both the left and right guards, and they're coming up on 2 cut blocks on the second level. Great. That's a great look at second level cuts right there. Okay? Both guys are going for the play side knee. Both guys are forcing the defenders to have to protect themselves by either jumping over you or low shedding you. And to me, they're great. It's hard to defend those blocks, as you can see, and then get off and make a tackle. Okay? And it would have been nice if the right guard actually cut that backer. He didn't get him down, but, you know, they're still very effective blocks. Here down by the goal line, we've got the left guard, J. Lou, is coming up on Duke's middle linebacker, and he gets by, and it's a heck of a job by both guys. Sometimes you don't have to cut. Sometimes you can drive them by, but it's a great job of him trying to get the guy down, as well as the tackle trying to get that D lineman down. They got him off the ball, which leads to a touchdown. As we know in football, many teams run power or gap plays where you use gap blocking, which is kind of the opposite of zone blocking. It's in and up away from where the ball's going, where zone blocking is out and up to where the ball's going. And one of the hardest blocks is what we call a deuce, and that's a combination block with the guard and tackle to the side of the call. And that guy can do a lot of things. That 3 technique, he could be a 2 technique, he could be inside shade guy, he could be moving. But we want to use constant footwork on these deuce blocks of gap blocking, and we want to trust our eyes and our feet to do the same thing. And you really, so much of this is you have to work these combinations, just like we talked about the zone combinations. Now here we have this would be 17 power, and it's the left guard and the left tackle on a combination block, and what I don't like is the left guard is kind of drop stepping his right foot, but he still is given plenty of hit to that 3 technique, which allows the left tackle to really get involved with that deuce right there. Okay? And now what you want to do, why you want the left guard to use forward footwork there is because as much as you want to drive the guy down, you want to drive him back also, because that kind of takes care of the linebacker. If he has to run the hump, it's going to give us a consistent gain of 3 or 4 or 5 yards. Okay? That was a pretty good job right there by Malcolm and Jeremy Lewis, and here's another example. And again, you want it's in and up with your right foot when you're going to the left. Okay, so your inside foot is moving first. Okay, that guy pinches. Here's versus a pinch, and the left tackle actually climbs, and he wants to pin the upfield shoulder. Okay, and Malcolm does a decent job of that. And then if that guy tries to hump you and get over the top, now you want to use your backside or right arm and finish him up the field. Okay, but that's a good job by Jeremy in taking the pinching tackle. Good job by Malcolm climbing and pinning the upfield shoulder. Now we got the right side working on the 3 technique with the left guard pulling. Okay, we're still drop stepping a little too much. That's a better by the right guard, but the right tackle's gotta use forward footwork so you can knock the guy off the ball. And you always tell him that covered guy, the guard, has to look inside, because he could get hit by a pinching nose guard, a blitzing linebacker, and so he wants to be in and up, pads down, and trust the tackle to get there so he can keep going up the field and get whoever shows. Here's some game footage, and it's a 16 power. It's right guard, right tackle on a 3 technique. The 3 wants to play us straight up. It's a pretty good job. The right guard climbs up because the backer's not scraping across, and he wants to come right at him, so we'll take him on. And here comes the back, and oh man, he sneaks out of there, and it's a bust out. Beautiful. And I'm not saying there's a lot of important blocks there, but that Deuce block ends up being as important as anything on this power. Here's a backer trying to run through in the A gap, and again, what we're talking about is in and up footwork, but your eyes are inside. You got to trust that the tackle next to you is going to fill the void and connect with your hip while you're looking at any A gap run throughs, and he picks it off perfect, and we get a nice pull. And he shoots right through there. We probably could have done a better job on that outside end, but it's a nice 5-yard gain, 4-yard gain. Here we got another 16 power. Right guard, right tackle on the Deuce. I think the right tackle's turning too much. You want to stay square. But he's using good footwork. He has good awareness of that linebacker, and he gets lucky and flushes him up. It's a great job by the right guard taking the 3 technique when he comes inside. The back kind of hesitates a little there, and if he hadn't hesitated, he might have got through there. And look at the job by the puller knocking that guy down, but it's a real good job on the Deuce.
We use back blocks on our gap plays like counters, powers, and naturally we have to practice these back blocks a lot. So we'll start off by getting paired up with a partner on a line. Then the defender holds a hand shield across his chest and lines up in a tight inside shade. On the whistle, the offensive player will execute this back block. On the second whistle, the defender will turn and run as if chasing down a ball carrier. The offensive player then has to throw his backside arm to keep himself between the defender and the ball carrier. Naturally, we practice these on going down. Pass set drill is something we work on daily at the University of Miami. It involves 3 types of sets. The first one is a jump set. On the jump set, we have the defender, and the players are paired up on a line. We have the defender in a head-up position, and then we want to jump set them, which entails going slightly forward with both feet, and you're trying to get a little edge on the defender before he can grab you by surprising him with a jump set or forward footwork type of set. The second set is a lateral set. Lateral means going to the side, and on the lateral set we work it against a outside shade technique that's usually in a foot to crotch alignment on the pass protector. In this particular set, we're going to keep our inside foot solid and not moving at all, our outside foot will sit exactly to the crotch of the defender. Okay, we're gonna, do our usual with our hands and our heads and our feet by jam jacking and throwing. Okay, the third set is a wide or vertical set, and we'll get the defender to come out extra wide, and now we're going to give ground with a kick slide technique. So you got the 3 sets being jump set, lateral set, which is to the side on a 3 technique, and then a vertical set, which is kick sliding. We'll use punch and cuts on our 3-step passing game for the offensive line, and we have to work our drills for that, because what we're trying to do is use a jump set, punch the guy and get a vertical extension with your arms and get him off you, and then go down and cut the top of his kneecap with your eyes up and your pads down, and it usually times out right to where you get the ball is being thrown and it can go over the head rather than get it batted down. And you have to practice this, and we have drills that we work on, and we call it, of course, punch and cut, and that's what we're trying to do. Use forward footwork on a jump set, get extension, and then cut them. Here's some practice reps, and you can see, you try and get the guys on defense. They're getting cut, but you want them to make it realistic and come across or engage the defender. And then he just works on trying to drive the head to the near kneecap. You also always want to, don't give up inside leverage. Always try and stay inside on the defender. That was a pretty good cut there by Ben Jones, our right tackle. Good punch and cut. Here's our right guard, right tackle, and you can see that's not a good job by our right guard there, Brandon. There, he actually didn't jump set the guy, so he didn't get good wood on him, and the guy almost batted it down. Anyway, this punch and cut is something that you really gotta drill. You gotta make sure that you're emphasizing the fine teaching points of the jump set, the extension, the eyes on the top of the kneecap, and the timing of the whole deal.
So much of what we're teaching in pass protection at the University of Miami is about posture. And when we talk about posture, we talk about sitting slightly with your legs wide, sitting down just a little bit, bringing your butt down maybe 6 inches, and having your feet open and your weight on your arches or the inside of your feet. And we want also to have our elbows up, hands up, tuck our chin, chest out, and then we want to assume that position, and we'll do it like here. For instance, in this drill, we're going to do it with the hands behind the back. Now, if you notice, each player should be pushing off their arches, and we can do it 2 different ways. I'm doing a direction here where we're just pointing a direction, and you can see we'll go left and right, and then we'll go back to the left and back to the right. Okay, the whole time you're trying to emphasize the same things. A slight bend of the butt sitting down, the legs wide, and you're working off the inside of the arches. You can also do it by direction, right, left. You can, rather than point, you can just give a direction. Now in this particular deal here, we're going to go to sandbags, okay, because getting linemen to understand to keep their hands up in pass protection is vital. So again, it's pretty much the same drill, but rather than have your hands behind, we have them with sandbags, and these sandbags are great. They have grips on them, and they're about 25 pounds. And here it is now in the game itself, and you can see our right tackle, John Feliciano, is doing a good job, number 70. If you notice him, he's pushing for depth. He is keeping his feet apart. His hands are up, and he gets an excellent punch and manages to keep a good string line between him and the quarterback, and he's keeping inside leverage. Also, really everybody here is doing pretty well. Our left tackle, You know, he's getting just not so good with his hands, but his footwork is good, and he keeps inside leverage. And the right guard does a great job too. That's a tough block on a 3 technique. Okay, well, the protection breaks down a little bit there late, but here's the next look at this, and we're going to find examples of pass protection posture. That's again good by the right tackle. Feet are apart. You know, he's getting his head involved a little bit, but it's a good punch. He's keeping inside leverage, and nice job by the right guard. The left tackle's doing a decent job too. You know, he's getting his hands on him. He's keeping his feet apart. Great. I think that's excellent by Brandon Linder, 65. I mean, as far as getting his hands on the guy and keeping posture, and looks very much like the drill.
Okay, let's talk about how your center and 2 guards are going to block the games that they get inside with the nose guard and the 3 technique or whatever combination they have in there. When we work on these, we want to prepare our guys for what they're going to see in the game. So we'll break down the film, and whether it's a tackle first with a nose around, or a nose first with a tackle around, or just an angle or slant to and away from the tight end, we have to work these drills on our different protections and make sure that we're really solid with them. And we show the guys the film, of course, during the meetings, and then we work these particular drills right here. It's essential that the guard that has an outside technique keeps inside leverage and prevents that guy who's usually the penetrator. And there you see a good job of our right guard stopping the penetrator, which allows the center and the other guard to be able to handle the looper. So they're doing a good job, and again, we'll show it on tape. We'll practice it on the field, and then they get to do it in a game like they're doing right here, and they're doing a good job of it. You want to try and make sure that they're on the same level. The center's usually up a level when he snaps the ball, so he'll get back and get on the same level as the guards, and then we'll pass things off, stay square, and do the best we can.
Well, as we know, in both college and pro football, the passing games have become so sophisticated, and people are trying to earmark that quarterback and get him out of the game. And one of the best devices to use are mixes or tackle end games or nose tackle games. And in this particular drill, we're going to be emphasizing our guard and tackle working against a 3 technique and a 5 technique, particularly here. But you can see the things you're going to see are going to be this is a pirate stunt where both the end and the tackle, slant or angle inside, and you're gonna see, and how you're going to take it on, how you're going to stop it. But you want to work these different mixes and not just wait on your defense in team periods to do it. You want to do it in your drills. And one of the things we do, like for instance, this one here is a TE, and the tackle is the first guy, T, and then E comes under. Now, what we tell the right offensive tackle to do here, and he's not doing such a hot job, is to arm bar with his left arm. That means we want him to put his left hand up and feel that defensive tackle while he looks at the defensive end. And as soon as he sees the DN come under, then he can connect both of his hands and stop that penetrator, the tackle, on a TE stunt. Okay? And of course, you want to communicate too, so there's got to be verbal communication. You want the tackle that sees the end coming under to yell out game, 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 game. Okay? And we'll work this like crazy. Here we are, and it's going to be the right tackle and right guard getting in. This is actually an ET, where the end goes first and the tackle goes second. And I think the tackle could do a better job of protecting his inside, but we does try to snap that guy off The guard gets them a pretty good job. They yell out game, and then the tackle should stay there. Let that tackle come around and get outside them so you keep inside leverage, and then we block the game. Here on the next play, this is the left guard and the left tackle. And actually, the left guard has a 2 technique. The guy tries to stem out to a 3 technique late, and so our left tackle's kind of jumping outside on him, but he sees the game. He yells it out. He does a good job of staying flat and shutting that down. And if you watch the left guard, he's extending his hands and removing that guy so it's a little easier on our left tackle. That's the whole key to these games. Stop the penetrator. The looper is a big part too, but the penetrator is the most important guy. You got to stop him, and you got to use your hands violently on these things. That's a real good job. Allows us to throw the ball and make a completion, move the chains. Another TE. This is right guard, right tackle. You know, the right guard should try. He's trying to stay flat. Notice how the right guard's not giving ground and turning and putting the right tackle in pearl. And the other thing the right tackle could do is put his left arm up as an arm bar. Watch that right end, that left defensive end. You're watching the end. As soon as he comes under, yell game, connect your right hand to your left hand, and you're working. You're working the TE stunt. That's a really good job, you know. One of the most difficult things to teach for any offensive line coach, or actually any offensive player, is the ability to block people in the open field. And this cage drill, what we do is we take 4 dots, we try and get them about 10 yards apart, a 10-yard square, and sometimes you have to get them a little bit bigger, and we keep a guy, as you see right here, we have a guy one guy's outside the cage, and another guy's inside the cage. The guy inside the cage has to move around and avoid the guy that's trying to knock him out of the cage. And what you're trying to emphasize in this drill is the ability to keep your feet apart with your pads down and your eyes up and your elbows and hands tight. Because the first thing guys want to do in the open field is grab and contain people. And we don't want to grab and contain you in the open field. You're probably a better athlete than us in the open field. All we want to do is assume good position and make you move, and that should be enough room to let that back run. Now, the whole key to this is a great conditioning drill, and usually it goes for 10 seconds. You time it for 10 seconds, and the guy in the cage, here comes number 76 outside the cage, the guy in the cage has to avoid. Now, see, he's not really doing a good job of avoiding. I want him to spin, be like a point guard in basketball. Avoid the guy that's trying to knock you out and stay in the cage. Now, and again, let's go back. The important part of it is the guy that's outside the cage and trying to knock you out of there is trying to get his pads down, trying to keep his elbows and thumbs tight, and trying to bend with his pads down with his eyes up. And it sounds like it's easy, but the common mistakes are hands outside, trying to contain, head goes down, okay, and feet cross over, okay, and you want to avoid those things in the open field. This is a great job, by the way, of Taylor Gadbois giving good effort and trying to grind the guy out of there, right? It's what football's all about, man. We're trying to give effort. Now we're trying to show you where here's actually going back the wing receiver, the right guard in the center. We all have examples of getting in the open field, okay? Now, you can see the wing receiver does a nice job of getting on the guy, and he's got his feet apart, and he's square, and his hands are tight. but then he doesn't finish and doesn't run his feet. And that could be the difference between a play breaking for 8 or 10 and getting out of there. Could be a difference in the game. Now the center and the right guard, you see them, they're making connections, and now you got to move your feet, get them moving, create a hole. You know, it doesn't always mean that you're moving guys back towards the goal line and putting them on their back. It just means you're moving them and creating lanes for our backs to run in. Here's the right guard, obviously. He zone steps on a tight zone play. Actually, this is a wide zone. And you know, the defensive end works outside on our right tackle, so that puts him up on that linebacker, and now it becomes like an open field block. And he's engaging, and he falls off, and that's probably because he gets his feet crossed up. Because these guys, they're going to use their hands too, and they're going to throw you. So once you get connected, you have to work on your balance, and that's when it gets to your feet being apart and your weight being on your arches, so you have balance with your hands and feet working together. Now, that's a good job by him, though, as far as his connection with them. You know, you don't need a big-time hit or a big-time.
Okay, one of our favorite pass blocking drills is called Bull of the Ring. Okay, and again, we're emphasizing posture of the old lineman, which you try to do in any of your drills with pass protection. We put 4 guys holding hand shields and surround the offensive player who is inside of the 4 hand shields. The coach on the outside of the drill will call direction. Example being left, right, and now the pass protector on the inside will just flip his hips and turn and face the person to the direction called. He as soon as he faces him, that guy takes a slight step at him and he hits him. In this particular picture, you have more than 4, and you can use more than 4. But the thing is to move your feet, stay in posture, unleash a good punch, keep your head back, hands together, get extension, and as you can see, you know, we're doing a good job there. It's nice.